Have you ever tried working with P-traps in Revit to find yourself struggling to figure it out? Do P-traps come in backwards? Are you trying to connect into them? Are they just not displaying correctly? Well, in this video I'm going to show you guys my best tips and tricks for working with P-traps in Revit, and hopefully it'll make things a lot easier for you guys. And at the end of the video I'm going to show you guys how to download this P-trap family that I've created. So like always guys, we're going to start a new project. I'm going to choose browse. I'm going to use a plumbing default project. We're going to hit OK. Start drawing some pipe. That looks good. Let's drop it down to maybe 5 feet and then we'll just end it right here. We'll hit escape. Let's go ahead and look at this in a 3D view. So we'll select it. Use the section box. We'll zoom in on this. We'll change the display to fine. We'll just get rid of the section box by hiding the categories, and we'll get rid of the level as well. Now that I have my pipe drawn, I just want to explain something to you guys. So P-traps come out of the box as a multi-port type of fitting. But what we really want to do is we want to be able to use a P-trap just like an elbow. And that's why we're going to go ahead and change our P-trap to an elbow. But the first thing we have to do is load in this P-trap family. So let's go to Insert. So let's go to Load Family. Go to where you keep your family files. English Imperial. Go down to Pipe Fittings or Pipe. Then go to Fittings. PVC, Schedule 40, socket type DWV for drain waste vent, and then we'll scroll down to this Trap P PVC Schedule 40 DWV. Click it and hit open. Now Revit has loaded the P-trap into the project, but we need to select it so we can edit it. So the way to select a family that's not in the view is we can go and right click on families, click search, and we're going to search for anything that has trap in the name. So we'll hit next, and the first thing that comes up is this trapezoid, so we'll hit next again, and there's our P-trap family that we loaded in. So we can close this, we can right click on our family, and then we can just click edit, and that will bring up the family editor. So now that the family is open, all we have to do is see this part type right here. We're going to change it from multi-port to elbow. And basically what that does is it just makes this fitting act like an elbow. So we'll load it back into our project and close. I don't need to save the library file, so I'm just going to hit no. And then it's going to ask if we want to overwrite the existing version of the one we loaded in before. So we're going to overwrite the existing. So now that that fitting has been loaded in and it's now an elbow, we can select any elbow we want in the project. So we'll select this one. And then we can click this family drop down right here. And as you can see, Trap P PVC is now one of the options as an elbow. So we can just change it right here. And you need to make sure that constrained to routing preferences is unchecked. If this is checked, that's not going to show up. So we have to uncheck it, and we'll click this standard button. And a P-trap just pops right in as an elbow. So that is the way you change a P-trap to an elbow. Now, I want to show you guys some little things that happen with Revit. We'll just turn on our thin lines, and I'm going to go ahead and delete this P-trap. Now, sometimes you'll connect some pipe. We'll just trim these pipes back together. And this time I'm going to try to do the same thing. We're going to select the elbow. We're going to go to the drop down, and we're going to change it to standard. And as you can see, Revit has put the P-trap in backwards. And that is, this is tip number 1. When you're drawing pipe, it does matter which way you draw the pipe when you're working with P-traps. So there's 2 different things you have to keep in mind. If you are trimming your pipe, you always have to trim the horizontal pipe first and then the vertical. So when I use the trim command, TR, if I trim my horizontal and then my vertical, and then I change the fitting, everything will work perfectly. But if I trim from my vertical to my horizontal, that P-trap family will come in backwards or upside down. Okay, here's another little tip. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this piece of pipe. I'm going to start from my horizontal. So I'm going to select this, and we're going to right click, and we're going to draw a pipe, and we'll just move it up to that 9-foot marker and hit apply. And now if I change, again, you're going to see the P-trap get drawn in incorrectly. So when you're drawing your pipe, you have to make sure you draw the vertical portion first and then the horizontal portion. So if I'm drawing my pipe from this point right here, if I right click and draw pipe, and let's drop it down to 5 feet, and then we'll just move it over here. Since I drew it from the vertical down to the horizontal, and then I go and change this to a P-trap, Revit will draw the P-trap correctly. So you just have to make sure that you are drawing your pieces of pipe correctly for Revit to make your P-traps orientation correct. So if this did come in incorrectly, so go back. So if it did come in correctly like this, I would just delete it, trim, horizontal to vertical, and then select this, and we'll change that to a P-trap. So you guys just have to make sure you are doing that correctly. So I just wanted to explain that a little bit. So now I'm going to show you guys some more really cool tips and tricks for working with P-traps in Revit. So let's go ahead and delete all of our pipe by selecting it, delete. Let's go back to our first floor, and we're going to draw some floor drains. So let's go to Systems, Plumbing Fixture. We'll go to our drop down and we'll just search for drains. We'll use this 6-inch strainer and 4-inch drain. And right away there's that can't symbol, and Revit's saying click on a host or face, and right now it's saying place on vertical face. So a drain doesn't go on a vertical face, so let's change this to maybe a work plane since we don't have any floors. And let's just click a drain point right here. You're going to see a warning that none of the elements are visible. So usually that shows up when the view range is incorrect. So let's change our view range to make sure that we can see our floor drains. So let's click on edit. And for this, I'm just going to make my bottom unlimited. Okay, we could also change our cut plane to 0. So I'm going to hit apply. So changing the cut plane to 0, now it's cutting through that drain so we can display it. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to change my bottom from level 1 to unlimited. Now I'm just going to select my drain. I'm going to use the array command, and let's array this 5 times. So I'm going to go up to here, make it 5. I don't need group and associate for this, so let's just go to about right there. Let's hit escape. Let's select all of our drains. We're going to hold control, and we're just going to drag these drains over down here to about right there. Then I'm going to use the shift and my arrow keys to just make a little offset right here. So now we have 10 drains in this orientation right here, maybe for showers. So the first thing we'll do is we'll create a system out of all these drains. So let's just select all of them, and we'll go up to here and click this piping button, which creates a piping system. We'll just use the sanitary system that Revit displays, hit OK. And now I have a sanitary system with my floor drains. So let's use the generate layout command up here to draw some pipes with these drains. We're going to place our base, and we're just going to place it maybe right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my diameter to 4 since we are using 4-inch drains. And I'm going to make my offset -2 because the piping is going to be below the floor. So let's go -2. And it's always a good practice to use about -2 feet when you're using drains. So let's go to solutions, and let's pick a solution that we think might be right. Maybe something like this. Now I want to look at this in a 3D view so I can really see what's going on. So I'm going to open my 3D view up. So as you can see in the 3D view, that's not what we're looking for. We want these to be at -2 as well. So let's change those by going to settings. Let's make our offset -2. Let's make sure we change our pipe type to PVC. Let's change our branch as well to -2. Change our pipe type to PVC. Hit OK. And now things are looking much better. And let's just hit this finish layout button and see what happens. Now that looks pretty good. Revit did a good job of connecting all these pieces of pipe. As you can see, our T's are going in the right direction, and everything looks pretty good. Now all we have to do is select all these elbows. So instead of selecting them one at a time, what we can do is we can select one of them, and we can right click and go to select all instances, visible in view. And that will select all the elbows visible in this view. So let's go to our drop down, and let's just change that to trap P or P-trap. And Revit automatically creates P-traps for those elbows. Now it did work and draw them the correct way because we drew it from our fitting, which was that vertical piece, down to our branch. So Revit was drawing it the correct way when it did the auto routing, and the P-traps come in correct as well. Now we do have a problem over here, so what we're going to have to do is just select this P-trap or elbow and then change it to a regular standard elbow. And that looks great right there. Now I want to show you guys another way you could have done that. Let's say you have more stuff in the view and there's elbows around in your project, so maybe there's a better way. Let's try that again. Let's go back and select all this piping network. We'll click it. Then we can go up to here to filter, and we can select only our pipe fittings. So let's hit OK. And now only the pipe fittings are selected. So let's go to our floor plan, and now all we would have to do is hold shift and just deselect our T's in the middle of the pipe. So let's go back to our 3D. Our elbows are all selected, so let's just change them to a P-trap. And again, Revit is doing everything for us nice and quickly. Now the last technique I'm going to show is a pro technique, and I haven't used it a ton, but it is very beneficial to know how to do this very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily change my routing preferences for this PVC pipe. So I'm going to select some pipe, go to edit type, go to routing preferences, edit, and for elbows we're just going to select this trap P PVC, and it's just going to be temporary. So I'm going to hit OK, hit OK. Now let's select all of our pipe. We'll use the filter command and deselect our pipe or our plumbing fixtures. Hit OK. We'll delete all this piping. We'll tab into our system, select it. We'll generate the layout, go to our floor plan, place our base, place it about right here. Go through the solutions. Well, let's actually modify this base because we need to make it at -2. Let's go to solutions, go back to our 3D view, and we'll cycle through. That one looks good. Make sure we have the right settings, PVC, PVC, hit OK. And now when we finish this layout, all the elbows will be automatically converted to a P-trap. So I'm going to click Finish Layout, and as you can see, all the elbows got automatically converted to a P-trap. So all we have to do is select this P-trap right here, change it to a standard elbow, and then what I would make sure I want to do is select a piece of pipe, go to Edit Type, click Edit, and make sure I change the elbow back to this bend PVC. Now you guys can see that the 3D view looks pretty good and everything looks great, but in my floor plan view I don't really have any P-traps showing. So I'm going to show you what a typical drain layout would look like by just deleting all of these drains. So let's right click, select all instances visible in view, and let's just delete them. So this is what a normal drain and P-trap sanitary system would look like. So we really want to show P-traps right here. So if I select one of the P-traps, right now it's not displaying it correctly. So I'm going to show you guys how to use the P-trap that I've created to make things display a little better. So I'm going to load that P-trap in by going to Insert, Load Family. So I made this little family folder, and this is the MEP Guy P-trap, so we're going to open it up. And now that it's loaded in, let's just select all of our P-traps by right-clicking, select all instances visible in view, click the drop-down, click MEP Guy P-trap, so let's just deselect all those, and look at that, everything's looking great. Now these are the types of P-traps we would like to see in a floor plan when we have a sanitary shower network or something. We want to see something that looks like this. So what you need to do, it's very complicated, and I did make a video that's not doing so great right now, but I have a video on my website that explains how I put these symbols inside this P-trap, and I hope you guys like that, but I'll also put on the website a way to download this family. So hopefully you guys check that out. You know, if you have some ideas for future videos, that would be real awesome. And please remember to just like the video. That way I know to make more videos just like this one. Thanks guys. Bye.